Welcome to the Jeremy and Andy Talk Movies podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Andy.
And Andy, I'm going to go a little bit different with my opening question for you on this one. I'm going to throw it out there right off the bat. We're talking about Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I'm watching
Yeah.
this movie that only makes sense with the zany levels of animation that we can do now. And I had to think, Andy, how would you explain to a young person that in the 90s they once tried to make a live action Super Mario Brothers movie? How would you explain that movie to a young person?
The only way to explain that movie is to show them clips of it. That movie is it goes beyond explanation. I cannot really. That's the biggest takeaway from watching this movie is that I can't believe nobody stopped that old Mario Brothers movie from getting made.
Yeah, it's an all-time like, hey, we've got to make this world make a little more sense to make a movie out of it, and yet everything they
Oh
did
my
just made
god.
it make less sense.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it truly is one of the worst. Probably safe to say it is one of the worst like mainstream movies to ever come out.
For sure. And it's not even so bad that it's like fun watchable. It's just
No,
bad.
it's bad.
And I believe Bob Hoskins has sort of infamously talked about how him and John Leguizamo just drank their way through the production so that they could survive it.
I mean, honestly, that's the best way to handle that situation.
Yeah. Uh, so obviously, talking about that new movie is not what we're here to do. But I literally kept thinking about that movie while watching this new one. So I just wanted to ask
Yeah.
you about it. Uh, so this new Super Mario movie, obviously, was it 2023? 3 years ago that the first one came out, I believe, and
That
was a
that sounds right. Yeah.
and was just a huge box office hit. So we knew right away we're getting a sequel, and sure enough, here comes the sequel. I guess I'll go ahead and give a brief summary. I'll try. This is gonna be a very brief summary because this movie, you try to explain it and it gets complicated really fast, and that's needless.
Yeah.
So, just as simply as I can, in this movie, Mario and Luigi return for another adventure. This time to rescue Peach's long lost sister Rosalina from Bowser's son.
There you
That's
go.
it. Andy, was
Yeah.
the Super Mario Galaxy movie good?
No, this movie is. I was shocked how bad this movie was. This is such a horribly written movie. It's 100% the fault of the screenplay. This is a terrible movie. Ryan and I were literally just talking like 10 minutes ago because he saw it with me. And he was like, I legitimately would not be shocked to find out that AI just wrote this movie. Like, it just, it is just noise and color up on the screen. And it's just a giant pile of nothing. It was really bad, I thought.
All right, you know what, Andy? I'm not gonna be able to argue the things you say, but my note was we compare movie to food a lot of times, and I said in this
Hmm.
movie it's pure candy. It's pretty
Yeah.
easily consumable. It has zero nutritional value. So you're not wrong when you say like this fluff. I mean, it's like eating Sour Patch Kids is what this movie's like.
Hmm.
But that said, eating Sour Patch Kids, I can sit there and I can just keep kind of munching on them, and I'll eat way more than I intend to, and I'll enjoy it more than I should. And that's kind of how I feel about this movie. You're right. This movie is not breaking new ground. It's not clever. It's not anything. I mean, it is made to be so easily digestible for little children, basically. And
Right.
yet, I was like, you know what? I'm having fun. And maybe, you know what? I'll say this. I think this is definitely low expectations played into it because I, even though I kind of like the first Mario movie, I was like, I don't have any special affinity for it. Like, I'm not psyched for a
Hmm.
sequel. Really, the only reason we did this movie is because we knew it was going to be a big hit. And
Right.
when you do what we do, you sometimes just got to review the big hits. So I went in there and I got popcorn and drink. Sometimes you get popcorn and drink and all that stuff because you're like, I'm not sure I'm going to love the movie, so let's at least enjoy some snacks while I do it.
Hmm.
And I think that helped me just sort of be like, yeah, whatever, we're having fun here.
And I totally get it because that's how I felt about the first one. But I think, like you always say, like that we live in a post John Wick world. So action
Mm.
movies need to be better. We also live in a post Frozen world and a post Up and a post Spider Verse movies world. So I think, it's not enough anymore for these animated movies. Because I will say, this movie, it is very pleasing up on the screen. You know, like it looks good. And I've always said this on here, nostalgia is very powerful. So when it plays the little noise that plays in Mario when you get a one up or a mushroom, like I like all that stuff. But like I said, we live in a post, you know, let's say Frozen, which I think is a legitimately good movie, you know, that also looks good. It's like in Frozen, you can tell they put some thought and effort into the story, and the characters grow and they learn. And, you know, even though that is a movie made for kids, it ends up being an enjoyable movie for adults as well because it's well done. And this movie is just like, hey, just do some stuff for a while. And then it just felt like, you know, they were animated and everybody was like, all right, we're done. So the movie's just over. Like, there's no, and I'm not talking like, I'm not talking, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson level like character arcs or anything like that. But like, no, that nobody has any character or personality or anything, and it also just misses like, you know, a lot of these animated movies find their success. Like Shrek is a good example. It finds its success in appealing to kids, but also having jokes that are a little bit over the kids' heads so that adults can laugh at. I just don't feel like this movie does any of those things. I just feel like it's. You're right. It's like candy up on the screen, but to me, the result is like you ate too much candy and then you got diarrhea, and that's what's up on the screen. Not to be crude or anything, but that's how I would explain it.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow
Sour
that.
Patch
Okay,
induced diarrhea.
so so you're telling me Bowser's character arc didn't do anything for you? His redemption
It
arc,
did not do anything for me,
his
Jeremy.
father-son relationship. That's fair
You
enough.
know,
Like
it
I, I will say I do miss just villains. You know, I miss the days
mhm,
when bad guys could just be bad guys. We didn't have to make
mhm.
them like relatable and have an emotional connection to them too. But
Yeah.
um, there were, there were just enough flourishes in here that I did appreciate. I think my favorite thing that this movie did that was clever was Bowser Jr. looking at computer graphics of the like obstacles that they're having to go through on his base, and it just reverts it to like the old school graphics. So you're getting that like
Yeah, that was
retro.
funny.
And I'm like, that's really clever, and so I enjoyed that. And there's, like I said, it's a low bar. I just wanted some little bits that entertain me. I will tell you, there are things about this movie that make me eye roll a little bit, and some of it's like more behind the scenes type stuff. So, this movie has a great voice cast. I'll throw that
It
out there.
does.
Like a lot of great voice. I mean, first off, Jack Black is born to do voice work because he's so funny. Chris Pratt's great at it. Charlie Day's great at it. Keegan Michael Key, all these people. But here's where it gets annoying: is when you get somebody like Donald Glover is voicing Yoshi.
Yeah.
And like this isn't new. We've seen this so many times where like a big name is voicing something that really doesn't even speak very much. Like all he does basically is say Yoshi in a voice like that. It's like, did we need
Hmm.
Donald Glover for that? It's like, okay, like again, I know this has been done before. I know that Vin Diesel's Groot and always says I am Groot a bunch of different tones. I know that Alan Tudyk has done this in a lot of movies. Like he plays a chicken in Moana, and that's funny. Like, oh, you get this very talented guy to do such a nothing part. But in this movie, I'm just like, why? Why are we bothering having Donald Glover come in and record? Like, how long did it even take him to record this? And now he's doing the whole press tour as like one of the main guys. It's like, for
Yeah.
what? What did he do? He said Yoshi a bunch of times.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing too. It's like just you get all these really talented people and you're just giving them nothing, you know, so it's like Brie Larson is Rosalina in this movie.
Rosalina.
Yeah, and Rosalina just has nothing to do in this movie other than to get kidnapped. Like she doesn't feel like a character. You know, and again, I'm not talking like I want like the Godfather level of characters and character development and stuff, but it's like tell me three things about Rosalina or Rosalina and Peach's you know, their sisters and like I don't know. It just felt like they were like, let's just hurry up and get this movie made. This movie feels like it should have come out like 8 months after the last Mario movie came out. Because it just feels to me like they just hurried so quickly to get it out.
Yeah. Uh, Rosalina is the mother of a bunch of little star things, and
Stars?
it just brings up all sorts of questions about biology that I don't want to explore in a movie like this.
No, we don't need
Um,
to go down that road.
I mean, I'm going to assume it's kind of a queen bee type situation. I don't know. We don't have to do
Let's.
it, but it's just kind of a what? Like, what are we doing? But that's the thing about this movie is this movie doesn't bother at all with any sort of like constraints of logic or realism or anything. I mean, like you can't. It's Super Mario. It's so over the top. But I mean, just in everything, like the way they travel around space. I mean, they literally forego the idea that you even need a helmet on in space for
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi. They're just flying around in a spaceship that has like an open cockpit. It's like, at this point, they're literally like, we don't even have to bother with any fake science, whatsoever. And again, like, it's when a movie's like that, it's kind of hard to nitpick. It's kind of like we talked about with Pretty Lethal last week, where it's like, hey, we're making a movie about ballerinas beating up a bunch of European gangsters. Like, just go with it.
Hmm.
And sort of the same with Mario, but yeah, it was a lot. I was like, this movie really just asked you just to not give a crap about anything. I mean, even a cool scene like when they're at that one planet and they kind of go into like the casino area and everybody's walking on all sides of the floors, and it's like this
Hmm.
weird gravity thing. It's like that's cool. There's no reason for it. There's no explanation. It's just like, wouldn't this be a cool visual thing? Let's do that.
Yeah, and you're right. Like it's Mario, so I understand we don't need real exact logic behind everything. But I think like we've talked about this before. Like in any movie, like I do like it when there is some kind of set of rules. I don't care if the rules are absurd. Like the MCU, like especially like that first glory run of the MCU, like it did feel like there were, even though there's aliens and there's time travel and there's outer space and all this stuff, it did feel like there were boundaries. And then something like this, even like other animated movies like Frozen, I keep bringing up, like still feels like it plays by some kind of set of rules. And in this, you're just like, okay, now we're here and now we're here. And then this thing showed up and it just was a giant mess to me.
Yeah. Uh, the sort of big addition to the cast, besides Donald Glover as Yoshi, was Glenn Powell doing Fox McCloud, who, you know what? I don't know the history and the timeline of characters, but just as movie people, was it not like, oh, we've got Racket Raccoon in this thing?
Yeah,
Did I even say I say
absolutely.
Racket Raccoon? Rocket
You
Raccoon?
did.
I can't say words correctly.
I,
So
I knew what you meant.
thank you. This is terrible. Yeah, we got Rocket Raccoon in this thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I just like when he showed up, and I had actually seen this like on TikTok or something, so I knew it was Glenn Powell, and I was like, okay, like Glenn Powell's a pretty funny, charming guy. Like maybe some of that'll come through in this character. And same thing where I just was like, I don't know, like maybe it would have been funny if Fox, whatever his name was like he thought he was like this big hero, but he was just actually kind of a dim-witted buffoon. Because Glenn Powell can play that really well, and I thought he could probably voice that really well. But no, they don't really do that. And then he's kind of in the movie, and then when they don't need him to be, he's kind of not. And I don't know,
Yeah.
Jeremy. I just couldn't latch onto this.
Hey, you know what? That's totally fair. Sometimes it's like that. I feel like it actually makes me happy because I feel like I'm usually the grumpy one with movies. And so when you don't like a movie more than I don't, it's like, hey, yeah, Andy gets to be the grumpy one. You get to be grumpy every once in a while about Anaconda. You get to be grumpy about Super Mario Brothers Galaxy. So
I
I
try not
like
to
it.
do it too often, but when I'm grumpy about a movie, I'm really grumpy about a movie.
Yeah. Speaking of Anaconda, my brother told me last night that he watched that movie. And then my dad was like, "Oh yeah, me and Loretta watched that too." And I was like, "What did y'all think?" And they were kind of like, "I mean, they were trying to make a dumb movie, and they made a dumb movie, right?" And I was like, "Yep." And then I told him how I said, all I can think about that movie now is how you just went off on it on the podcast, and
I
it
hated that
was
movie so
hilarious.
much.
So
Ugh.
uh, so sometimes I'm happy bad movies exist just because of the way that you go off on them. That movie, him, of course, Madam Web. Like I'm glad
Oh,
these
Madam
movies
Web
existed
is
just for you to go off on them.
it kind of did, didn't it?
Yeah. Um, let's talk a little bit about reception of this one. So
Hmm.
first off, critics are killing this movie. They've given it a 42%, and like that. it was a little surprising because it just feels like it's a little easier to get higher critic scores these days. Um,
Hmm.
we've talked about all the time with certain movies where we're like, this isn't the type of movie critics used to ever give good scores to, but now like horror movies tend to get better scores than they used to, and silly comedies get better scores than they used to. But this movies obviously didn't get much love. I just always like to compare, especially with sequels like this. The original got a 59%. It's not a great score, but that's a pretty good sized drop off for critics
Yeah, it
between the
is.
first and the second. Audiences still are pretty high on it though. That's what's shocking. The original 95%, which is amazing from audiences. This one
Wow.
89%. So
Still
I'm
good.
surprised this one, but again, I don't know how the theater was for you, and we're gonna get to box office, in a second for this. But like, I went in there and I was surprised because I went on a Friday, kind of middle of the early afternoon when most people would still be in school, and I was like, there won't be anybody at the theater, and there was already a lot of, I mean, it was like tons of moms and little kids there, and I was
Hmm.
like, well, this is the type of audience that's going to enjoy this movie. Moms who just want their little kids to have fun. Little kids are going to enjoy it. They're going to see this and like it. So, um, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that box office, Andy, because this is probably the story of the movie. Um, Not so much the movie itself, but this movie was $110 million to make. At least that's what I saw, which is, again, I don't understand animation movies. Obviously, it takes a lot of computing power to make this stuff and probably a lot of animators making it. But I still just don't, I don't know how to calculate what I see in animation and go, well, that must equate to this type of budget.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't have anything to offer when it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, live action movies, you can tend to look at them and go like, I see why this cost a ton of money or not. But
Yeah.
yeah, uh, but Andy, can you tell us anything about the box office now this movie's doing?
Yeah, it broke all kinds of records for like the Easter weekend and stuff. Almost $400 million gross worldwide, 190 in the US. So this is on its way to, the last one made over $1 billion, and this will too. And I honestly think that's where some of my frustration comes from because they're clearly going to continue to make these movies. And I would imagine they'll probably try and blow out like an animated Nintendo universe. I mean, this movie has post credit scenes, two of them. Um,
Yeah.
so it's like
Well, I
that's
definitely
why
think
I
that's what
just
they were
love.
doing with the Fox McCloud character. I think
I
that's
do
why they
too,
brought
and
him. There's going to be a Star Fox movie for sure.
I agree completely. I wouldn't be surprised if they're working their way towards like a Mario Kart movie or a Super Smash Brothers movie. So that's why part of my frustration is like if they're going to continue this universe, which they clearly are, you know, I want better quality, and I think there's. I just want just better story to match the pleasing visuals up on the screen. But yeah, I mean, tons of records were broken. Like I said, almost a $400 million gross. Not a lot of competition coming up for this kind of movie. So I think it's going to continue. I mean, of course, it's going to have a big drop off because when you open to that much, you have nowhere to go but down. But this is going to be another $1 billion movie, and I imagine sometime in the next couple of weeks we'll be getting the announcement of either a third movie or a spin-off or something. So
Yeah, it's not very often, even with movies that do well, it's not very often we come on here and say, hey, a movie's well into profitability on opening weekend,
yeah, yeah, and
especially a
this
big
is
budget movie. Yeah.
a big budget movie. But and I will just say too, like I did have a similar theater experience to you, where like obviously a lot of parents, moms, and young children, and they were just eating this movie up. So I'm not surprised it has a good audience score.
Yeah. I mean, it just dominated the box office too. I mean, even Project Hail Mary, which had been running so strong, um, dropped, nearly 50% from the previous week because of it. And, I mean, so yeah, like domestically, Super Mario was at like, what am I seeing, like 190 million or something like
Yeah,
that.
190.
Uh,
Yep.
and then Project Hail Mary was only like 30 million this past weekend. So like when you're thinking about percentage of like all the movies that are being seen, like
Hmm.
Super Mario Galaxy, you add up all the others, they're not even half of what was being seen. It was all, I mean, Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie was more than half. Um, Even a movie that we're hopefully going to get to review soon. I haven't done my part seeing it, but the drama has two what you would think big time names, two big stars in it, and it couldn't make a dent in the box office this weekend. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it ate the box office up. I mean, Hail Mary is still doing really well. I mean, 30 something million
mhm.
in a third week is good for a big blockbuster, and it's doing just fine. But yeah, I mean, Mario just swallowed it up, and kids were, like I said, I can tell you the response from the young kids in the theater that I was in was overwhelmingly positive because they were happy, they were cheering. They, you know, I would hear kids go, "Look, it's Yoshi," and I mean, they were psyched. So, side note, I went to see it with my son Ryan, who's getting ready to turn 19. And before the movie even started, him and I were like, no matter how loud or obnoxious these kids are in the theater, we cannot get angry because we chose as adults to come watch the Mario movie in the theater. And we didn't get mad. Actually, I kind of have a nice story about our theater experience. There was a young woman sitting right in front of me, one row in front of me and one seat over from me, and she you know, she was like special needs, I think, and or I know, and maybe like autistic, different things like that. And I'm telling you, she had the time of her life watching this movie. I mean, clapping, cheering, screaming, like it was so endearing that I was like, this is great. Because even though I'm ripping it apart, like we always say, we just want people to enjoy movies, and this young lady was very much enjoying this movie. So that was really nice to see.
that young lady had the time of her life with this movie, and then you had the gall, Andy, to come on here and trash it and talk about what a terrible movie her favorite movie of all time is. Andy,
I know.
heartless. No.
But I did say
Uh,
I was happy for her. So if she ever listens to this
yeah,
episode, then I want
that's
her to
right.
know that I was enjoying watching how much she was enjoying this movie. I hope she doesn't listen
Yeah,
to the part where I said it was like candy induced diarrhea.
yeah. I had an experience where when I went in, my theater was it was weird because when I bought my ticket, it was sort of the same way. Like there's people up top and people down low, and not a lot of like the middle section of the stadium seating taken, which is where I like to be. And I was like, cool. So I got one like right where I'd want to be, kind of dead center. Nobody else around when I bought the ticket. And I was like, it'll fill in. Well, when I got to the theater and I was walking my seat, there was like a family of four. And it's kind of those things you walk up to your aisle and you're like, oh, they're going to be right behind me, aren't they? And I walk in and sit down, and sure enough, like they're right behind me. And their little girl has the seat right behind mine. And, some of the previews are going by, and I'm noticing her feet pushing into my chair quite a bit. And I'm just like, they're going to say something, right? They're like, hey, baby, like don't kick the guy's seat or something like that. But nothing. And I pull up my app, and I do this sometimes, when I'm in a situation like that. And I pull up the tickets to the movie, like I'm going to buy another one to see what's sold and be like, is there anybody coming to sit in the seat in front of me? And sure enough, like still the same thing. Everybody up top, everybody down low. The only seats in the middle were mine and the four bought behind me. So I was like, those people looked at all the seats available, saw so many seats possible, and said, let's pick the four behind this one seat that's sold right here and sit right behind this guy. Put my daughter right behind him and let her kick his chair. So like right before the movie started, I got up, walked down, set an aisle further down so I could be away from them. And I was like, I don't know if they feel insulted by that. I kind of hope they do, because shame on you guys.
Absolutely. I can promise you this. I started taking my kids to the movies when they were little, and we would have never let them kick someone's seat in front of them. I can promise you.
Yeah. And I don't assume like bad parents who just don't care. I just imagine they probably weren't paying that close attention and didn't notice that she was kicking the seat or something. Because it wasn't like she was like slamming it. It was just like more like she probably had her feet extended and was just pushing against it.
Mhm.
Um, but anyways, one thing I did want to mention with this movie before we wrap up, because this blew my mind, Andy. Sometimes I am so shocked by trends you see in movies that have nothing to do with each other. And we talked about uh, just a week ago, the trend of satanic cults in movies.
Mhm.
And this is not that. But Andy, this is the third straight week we've had a movie about estranged sisters in which the younger sister is not sure if the older one abandoned her or sent her away to protect her. We had
Yeah.
Ready or Not 2, They Will Kill You, and Super Mario Galaxy movie has the same plot line with Rosalina and Peach. I never saw that coming.
Did not see that coming at all. I never in a million years thought we would have any comparison between They Will Kill You and Super Mario Galaxy. But yet here we
I
are.
know. I know. I'm like, I guess this again. It's a theme of the year early on. I guess theme of the year candidate is the strange sisters, and the older one being the protective one, and the younger one wondering why'd you leave me. Yeah,
I guess it's better than them than working a satanic cult into the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
yeah, true. Although I'm gonna be honest, Bowser Planet, it had some vibes.
Little,
You know,
it has some
maybe.
satanic cult vibes, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's wild. I never even thought about that.
it's yeah. So who knows? Who knows what the next example is going to be? Now it could be in any movie, Andy. I don't know. I don't know when to expect this whole plot line to come up again in another movie.
Right? Who knows what's going to happen from this point on?
Oh man. Uh, all right, Andy. Well, I think that's probably all we need to say about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. It's not a movie we needed to go through scene by scene and break down because honestly, I wouldn't even know how to explain 90% of the scenes in this movie.
Absolutely. Most of the scenes would be really hard to explain.
Yep. And like with a lot of these animated movies, there'd be a lot of like, hey, did you get that reference? And that'd be about it. I mean, it'd be like, hey, did you notice that on that one planet, the little robots that were cleaning up things looked like minions? That's some
Yeah.
Illumination crossover there, like. But I don't really want to have that conversation.
By the way, I don't know about you, but before this movie started, they showed a preview for the new Minions movie. Is there ever been a franchise that just needs to die more than Minions?
You want to talk about a movie that looks like it was written by AI? The
Oh my
Minions movie is a
gosh.
movie about minions writing a movie and trying to make a movie. It's like, oh my gosh, this.
I cannot believe that there's still Minions movies coming out.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And it'll probably make a crap load of money. Ugh.
Yeah, it probably will. I'm really
Yeah.
curious about the Mandalorian and Grogu and how that's gonna do
I am
because
too, and I just for the life of me cannot decide whether that movie looks good or not.
I can't either. I think it's probably gonna do really well because I think it's got the crossover of adults like Star Wars and the kids love Grogu, but
Yeah,
I don't know. Like it's becoming that preview that I see at every movie, and
same.
I also like I know people who watch The Mandalorian, but it's not. I don't know why. I don't feel like I know a lot of people who are like, "Oh, The Mandalorian and Grogu. I can't wait for this movie." I don't hear people talking about it, but
I
I'll say
know.
like that preview came on, and I hear little kids going Grogu. Like I'm like, oh yeah, maybe this is gonna be a thing.
Yeah, and John Favreau's directing it. I mean, he directed Iron Man. He nailed that. So, I mean,
Mhm.
that dude's he's good. Favreau's good. I like some of his
He's got a
movies.
track
So,
record, yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't know. That's a real mystery to me. I'll guess we'll just have to talk it out when the time comes.
Yeah, we will. All right. Andy, hopefully we'll have a lot of episodes ahead of us. Like I said, the drama is an episode we want to get out later this week. If I can do my part and get to the theater and see it, then we'll do an episode on the drama. And so hopefully that'll be coming your way later this week. And if
I can
not, we'll
promise
definitely have
you,
more episodes next week.
maybe. I can promise you, you're not going to find two more radically different movies than the Super Mario Galaxy movie and the drama.
I'm going to see it, and my whole goal is to make a list of similarities between the two stories, Andy.
You do that. Let me know how that goes.
All right. I would encourage all the audience to do the same. Let's make a parlor
Please.
game of it. Who can come up with the
Yeah.
most similarities between these movies. All right. I think that is going to do it for our discussion of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I guess what I will say is, hey, if you've got kids and they like shiny, bright things, they're going to love this movie. And
They sure are.
give it a shot. If you are an adult with a critical mind for film, maybe it's not going to be for you.
Maybe not.
But we appreciate you joining us for our discussion.
Yep.
We will see you guys next time.
See you soon.